We're looking now at an assortment of American juveniles from the 19th century, actually from the earlier to mid-19th century. And this is 1848, playing hoops, like so many juvenile books of this era, each of these shows signs of usage and wear and handling. That's a view of Bethlehem. And they're all inherently scarce because of the fact they're, the audience they were intended for, as well as the fact that most of them are mere paper bindings. This is an early American science book for children, 1844. Here are children being instructed in astronomy, and the book is written as a series of questions. And this book, for instance, has what I consider to be very pleasing and interesting wood engravings, including what looked to me to be, yes, that's original hand color, I believe, on this one. I've seen this book 2 or 3 times over the years, and I believe they all have examples of that rainbow with hand coloring. There's an interesting wood engraving of planets, and here is another astronomical or celestial image. The original printed wrappers with a cloth spine. This is an interesting little book. It's natural history, relatively early for children. I'd put this in probably the 40s, mid-1840s perhaps, but it has a profusion of these. Oh, look at here. Slaves in the South, picking cotton. Interesting about plants. Oh, there's an eagle right there, an American eagle with a shield. There's a peacock. Oh, there we are. A man chasing an ostrich on horseback. Bald eagle right there. Oh, that's interesting. Bald eagle, as well as a harpy eagle. Here is cow and so on. Dog, sheep. Oh, look, that's a rhinoceros. It appears to be similar to the early Albrecht Dürer famous wood engraving of a rhinoceros. This is very interesting. It's an 1856 owner's inscription, and this is a historical, topographical, and geographical book for children about Massachusetts with, oh yes, early transportation vehicles. They are horse-drawn, and wooden houses, town square with a church, the steeple, and looks to be Franklin House. Yes, specific buildings. Oh yes, there we are. That is downtown Boston, I would say, it appears. The old State House, right? Quincy Market, that's interesting. Here we are. It looks like Faneuil Hall. Yes, Faneuil Hall. Always nice to see a globe with books and a telescope. So there's that one. The next one is this simple rhyme book with, again, a profusion of these wood engravings. This is 1845. Yes, just a profusion of, miniature really is what they are. They're just the size of postage stamps, mixed in with these full-page wood engravings throughout, which is quite nice as well. Does that say? Oh, I thought it had beautiful. Oh yes, here's a plate that someone has, look at this, repaired that tear with thread. An early owner used thread to repair torn paper. That's absolutely fascinating. This is before tape, Scotch tape, and that sort of thing, thank goodness. This is nice. Yes, very nice. The printed card wrappers. Early gift inscription from a teacher. And this is Reynolds, probably 1840s. This hand coloring is probably later. It's not issued with that. That probably is the result of an early owner attempting to add color to images. That's a whole another area that we now take for granted today, that color is everywhere we look. But back in this time, this is really just about the dawn of color lithographic printing. And so color at this date and earlier would have almost always exclusively, for the most part, been applied by hand. This is interesting. Borrowed and received. I don't quite know what that is, but it's early. And this book here goes to show you just how rough early primers can be. This one shows extensive handling. This page is, for instance, I think this is, yes, this has been restitched at some point rather crudely by an early owner who has taken it upon themselves to attempt to repair the book, because books like this, once they were subjected to heavy use, literally fell apart, which is one of the reasons why, oh, that's interesting, they're so rare today, so many of these are so scarce, is they literally fall apart with usage. And that's why almost any example of any given title is probably inherently scarce. Very interesting calligraphy owner's manuscript annotation here by her teacher. So it's a gift book. And that actually, I would say, appears to be, it looks very close to a lithograph. It's hard to say. I'd have to really, 1861, it could well be. I'd have to really get out my magnifying glass to see, because these are wood engravings here, these other ones. Yes, that's clearly a woodcut. And again, we see full page, as well as many of these small little cuts that almost certainly would have been used in other places for other publications. So here is a catechism, 1831, and original printed wrappers, early owner's name, Celia Webster, and a full page wood engraving. It appears to be signed in the plate down here at the lower left. This is 1827. Interesting. Here we have an 1831 date on the front cover, but the title page is 27. So I think what we can assume here is that this book was published in 27, and the publisher then would reissue it as part of different series or at different times, just keep changing the cover date of it, but the interior stayed the same. The final book is a very early and interesting wallpaper, marbled paper type book with, again, a gift presentation inscription from her aunt. It's to a little girl, Miss Abigail Pomeroy. This is quite early. It appears to be 1810, I believe, and it's Boston. It's an evangelical primer, and here we have very interesting, quite early, and quite crude woodcuts. And chances are these are almost certainly American produced. For this particular publication, they might have been used in other publications. This is the type of iconographic history that has yet to be fully explored, because these cuts could appear elsewhere or not. I don't know, but they're interesting, and there are a lot of them. And so this lot of American juvenile books of the mid-19th century is currently available on my website, briandimambro.com.